Hi everyone, this is Dr. Nitin Choda and welcome to Ignition Time. Thank you so much for being a viewer. Thank you so much for being a subscriber. I appreciate you. Your vote of confidence in me and my team is you gently tapping that like button, you igniting that like button, you clicking subscribe, and you enabling notifications. In this video, I'm going to talk to you about the pivot that's coming out of the White House. And there are many mixed messages coming from the White House. I can tell you that the information that the White House is putting out is quite unusual. Now, hopefully, you've seen my previous video on what Republican senators are saying. But let me tell you what President Trump said in the past 24 hours. The president said that Republicans want to do it. He's referring to the stimulus, but House Speaker Pelosi is the obstacle. He said that, again, House Speaker Pelosi is the one who's blocking all of this. Larry Kudlow was interviewed, and Larry Kudlow, and by the way, I'll show you Larry Kudlow's interview. You can see it for yourself. Larry Kudlow now goes back to targeted stimulus. Larry Kudlow's talking about the need to do targeted stimulus, specifically getting kids back to school, the Paycheck Protection Program, doing stimulus checks, doing unemployment. And I can tell you, and I've been saying this from day one, that House Speaker Pelosi and Chuck Schumer are going to be out the door if there's going to be any talk of anything targeted. They are not budging. I'll tell you towards the end of this video what my analysis is of this situation, but first I want to present the facts so that you can decide for yourself. So, President Trump said on Fox News today, he said, frankly, we're ready to go. We are all ready to go. We can't get Nancy Pelosi to sign the document. I don't know what document the president is referring to. So, again, the president of the United States said, frankly, we are ready to go. We are all ready to go. We can't get Nancy Pelosi to sign the document. So that's what the president said. Now, also, Larry Kudlow said this today, and I'll actually show you the interview. Larry Kudlow said when he was asked about the probability of the stimulus, I don't think it's dead at all. I spoke with Secretary Mnuchin last evening. Look, don't forget, Republicans in the Senate put up their own bill a few weeks ago and got 53 votes. I think if an agreement can be reached, they will go along with it. I just want to remind Larry Kudlow that was on the skinny bill. That was on a $600, 500 billion, $600 billion skinny bill. This bill is three times that. It is three times that. And there is a significant amount of Republican opposition to this bill. So I just want to point out to the White House economic advisor Larry Kudlow that the 53 votes that the Republicans got, were on the skinny bill. This is a $1.8 trillion bill, which many Republican senators are not supporting. So this is going to be a very heavy lift for the Republican leadership to be able to get behind that, because this is a huge bill. In fact, the 53 votes specifically that Larry Kudlow was talking about, when I dug deeper, it was actually for a $300 billion bill. It wasn't even $600 billion as I did some more research leading up to this article. So, regardless of whichever way you look at it, this bill is anywhere from three times to six times what the Republicans have publicly have gotten behind in the past. They have not gotten behind $1.8 trillion. It's as simple as that. So keep in mind that was a few weeks ago. In this environment, a few weeks ago is a lifetime ago. And also, the pandemic hasn't gotten better in the past few weeks. If anything, it's gotten worse. And Republicans have been uneasy about the high price tag. There is no doubt about that. And Larry Kudlow said that the Republicans would be willing to go higher. He said, this is what Larry Kudlow said. He said Secretary Mnuchin is up to $1.8 trillion. So the bid and the offer is narrowing somewhat between the two sides. President Trump has always said, I'm quoting Larry Kudlow, President Trump has always said, I've heard him say it in the Oval, as far as the key elements are concerned, the checks, the unemployment assistance, the small business assistance, we have got to help airlines out. He would go further. He's always said it. He knows that we need as much power for the economic recovery as possible. And that is what Larry Kudlow said. So I just want to point out that there has been some reporting that the president, that the offer from the administration could go to $2.2 trillion. That is not true. In fact, I want you to watch this interview with Larry Kudlow. He specifically said that the administration would not go higher on the top line number. Pay attention to the interview closely. Please pay attention to it closely. But there are specific aspects where the president wants to go higher. I want you to watch this video and then I'll give you my analysis. But before I jump into that, let me also point out that today the White House is seeking to repurpose $130 billion in leftover Paycheck Protection Program money from the first round of the CARES Act for another round of the Paycheck Protection Program. And it'll allow smaller businesses who need the money and who qualify to apply again. So again, this is roughly $135 billion in unspent money, and the White House wants to repurpose this money. Now, I just want to be clear, $135 billion is not enough for stimulus checks, and it is not enough for to do essentially stimulus checks for the population. But it could be helpful. It could be helpful for Paycheck Protection Program. It could potentially be helpful for unemployment benefits extension also. So maybe that's the end game of the administration with this money, or it could be sufficient for airline relief. So $135 billion is not enough for stimulus checks, but it could be enough money for the Paycheck Protection Program, some sort of extension of the unemployment benefits program, as well as airline relief. And so, let's just see what happens. I'm not sure if that's going to go anywhere. I will provide you with a link below to the actual letter that was drafted from U.S. Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin and White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows to several members of the House and the Senate, asking for the repurposing of this money, which is essentially money that has not been used from the original CARES Act. And I want you to watch this interview with Larry Kudlow. Please pay attention to it closely. Like I said, the White House is not raising the offer to $2.2 trillion. If you saw my previous video, you'll see that many Senate Republicans are not even supportive of the $1.8 trillion bill. And Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell has said that things are looking murky. He doesn't see a stimulus bill likely in the next 3 weeks. So I do think we need to temper our expectations, and we don't need to get taken in by false hype that exists out there. Let's take a look at what Larry Kudlow said, and then I'll give you my analysis after that. So stick around till the end of the video for my analysis. Let's watch.
So let's talk about the stimulus. To counter the Democrats' $2.2 trillion proposal, Treasury Secretary Mnuchin offered a $1.8 trillion proposal, but more than 20 Republican senators privately blasted that as a betrayal, a death knell. We're 23 days from Election Day. Is the stimulus deal dead?
Well, no, I don't think it's dead at all. I spoke to Secretary Mnuchin last evening. Look, don't forget, the Republicans in the Senate put up their own bill a few weeks ago and got 53 votes, I think it was. So they united. I think if an agreement can be reached, they will go along with it. Look, the issue here, and I don't understand this, my Democratic friends, Speaker Pelosi and so forth, we're asking for some targeted areas of assistance that would help this recovery. It is a V-shaped recovery, but there are key areas that could help. One, let's add on to unemployment assistance. The president's executive order is not going to go forever. Two, everybody in the world wants additional loans to small business. They will be forgivable loans, the so-called PPP program. Those are things that everybody absolutely wants. Number three, the president is in favor of direct mail checks to provide, again, some more temporary economic assistance. We are in a very strong rebound. I hope we get to that later. But the fact is, these are simple things. They have bipartisan support. We could do it as standalone bills or an omnibus bill or whatever, but I do not understand the intransigence from my Democratic friends.
Well, I'm not talking about your Democratic friends. I'm talking about 20 Senate Republicans who were mad at Secretary Mnuchin and saying that the proposal of $1.8 trillion was way too much. They called it a death knell. I think that was Senator Marsha Blackburn from Tennessee called it a death knell. I guess the big question is, going forward, you have to get something through the House and the Senate. Are you willing to pass a relief bill without support from a majority of Senate Republicans? In other words, you get the majority of Democrats in the House, you get Democrats in the Senate, and maybe 10 or 20 Republicans in the Senate, and then it goes to the president's desk. Would he be willing to sign that?
Well, look, I don't want to get into the specific legislative strategy, Jake, but I will say from the president's remarks late last week, he's happy on the key targeted areas that I mentioned, small business loans, unemployment, and so forth. he would actually go beyond what some of the Democratic numbers are. He may not do it for the entire package, but for those key targeted areas that would truly help the recovery, by the way, get kids back to school and reopen businesses. I think if we could get this thing settled on the Democrat side, we will get it settled on the Republican side. There will still be further efforts at negotiation, perhaps today, but certainly this coming week. So I don't think we're really, the D's are holding this thing up. Look, it's just a question of this. It's not so much the election per se. I know this is the political season. I get that. It's just getting Americans through a difficult period of time. We've seen a flood of blockbuster improvement numbers across the board on the economy, but there's really no reason why we can't add to that some additional assistance in the next 3 months. And I think you can get a deal. I'm not saying it's easy. Secretary Mnuchin, a very dear friend of mine, as you know, he's a very good negotiator. Let's see what he and Speaker Pelosi come up.
Now that was interesting, wasn't it? Larry Kudlow is an extremely interesting character, and I guess we always learn something new when he's on the air. In fact, Mike Mulvaney, the previous White House Chief of Staff, said that the administration put Larry Kudlow on the air, specifically on Fox, because that's their favorite network, the administration's favorite network, when they wanted to boost the stock market. You heard Larry Kudlow talk about the fact that this is a V-shaped recovery. You heard him lightly, sort of gently blame the Democrats without going over the top, because they do need support from the Democrats. You heard him avoid the question on how such a bill could actually pass the Senate without Republican support. Could it actually get Democratic support? You heard him avoid that question, and you also heard him clearly say that the administration is looking to raise the offer for certain things, but not the top line number. And you also heard what the president said. I quoted the president at the start of this conversation. I believe that what is happening is that the White House is creating a messaging strategy where they want to create they're essentially creating a messaging strategy where they want individuals to know that their offer is higher than the Democrats. In truth, their offer is higher than the Democrats in certain areas, and the White House is simultaneously pursuing a Plan B strategy where they are trying to use unspent money and then reallocate that in order to be able to help the economy or gain political mileage. Doesn't really matter how you can look at it whichever way you want. But one thing is true, that the administration is at $1.8 trillion. House Speaker Pelosi wants more, and the Senate Republicans are balking at $1.8 trillion. There's no way the administration will admit defeat and say, gosh, we tried the 1.8, it's not working, because the truth is, at this point, the $1.8 trillion isn't going anywhere at this point, unless something changes, because there's too much drama happening. The truth is, the White House is creating a messaging strategy where they're saying, hey, we are going higher than the Democrats. It's Nancy Pelosi's fault. The White House isn't going to say, well, you know what, we're not getting enough support from Republican senators, which, by the way, is the truth, which is what is happening right now. Instead, the White House is shifting the narrative and saying that Pelosi has to sign the document. I don't know what document the president is referring to, but I can tell you that this is an interesting messaging strategy to shift the blame in case talks fall apart, which, by the way, just to be clear, they're not going anywhere because of everything I told you. And also simultaneously pursuing a Plan B strategy where you can take some money that can be repurposed. But $135 billion is a drop in the bucket in the grand scheme of things. Right now, we need the bigger bill to be passed. And in the next video, I'll give you an opinion from Democrats who want Speaker Pelosi to accept $1.8 trillion, although they are in the minority. And I'll also give you my analysis of where things are heading and how things are evolving. That's it, everybody. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Also, please share this video with friends and family if you learned something new. Your vote of confidence in me and my team is you clicking the like button, you subscribing, and you enabling notification. Please gently tap the like button. Gently ignite the like button. That would be your vote of confidence in me. I know these are difficult times. My goal is to give you honest news, give you factual news, give you accurate news, and you can make your decision about where you stand. My name is Dr. Nitin Choda with Ignition Time. Please check out my video. I have the fortune, the the honor, the privilege of living the American dream. I want to help you live your American dream. We release videos at 2 p.m. East Coast time most days of the week. That's 2 p.m. East Coast time most days of the week. Please get your cell phone out, send a text message with the word ignition or with the word time to 70,000. That's 70000, and you'll get added to SMS alerts list going forward. So you can also opt out of our SMS alerts list at any point in time. You can also get on our email list. To get on our email list, go to ignitiontime.com/alerts. That's ignitiontime.com/alerts, and then you'll get added to our email list going forward. You can opt out of the SMS list or the email list at any point in time that you want. You can also, if you want, bookmark youtube.com/ignition time. That's youtube.com/ignition time. Once you bookmark our channel, you'll be able to visit our channel, watch the videos at any point in time as per your convenience, and you're not dependent on YouTube notifications. Please follow us on Instagram. Our Instagram handle is ignition_time. That's ignition_time. So definitely follow us on Instagram for exclusive content on Instagram. You can also follow us on Twitter. Follow us on Twitter at ignition_time. You'll get breaking news and alerts from us on Twitter, and I think you'll see why our Twitter followers are growing. So definitely follow us on Twitter as well. Once again, we release videos at 2 p.m. East Coast time most days of the week. Thank you so much for watching. Once again, my name is Dr. Nitin Choda with Ignition Time. Please consider clicking like. Please subscribe. Please enable notifications. That is your vote of confidence in me and my team. Gently tap the subscribe button. Ignite the subscribe button. I appreciate you. I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next episode of Ignition Time. Take care. Bye.